Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video of mine. I will be playing Kerbal Space Program. Now, let me explain. So, if you haven't seen my channel, I used to do a lot of history games and stuff, but now I want to do something new. So I decided to play KSP for 300 hours and decided to also make this map of nations. Now, we will be playing as one of these three nations. You can see Soktovia, which is in the left, Aricia, which is in the middle, and Peloka, which is in the right. Which, if you didn't know, Aricia kind of based off America, but also not. Soktovia a bit off the Soviets, and Peloka I just made up because I thought it looked cool on the map. Now, let's roll. Oh! Weren't those explosions pretty cool? Look, I got Peloka too. So, a little bit of Peloka. It used to be a pretty big empire. All the mini nations between it and the big green blob used to be a part of it. But then it kind of fell apart eventually over time as they gained their freedom. Typical nation stuff. So anyway, let's get into it. Here's me making the game. I just chose a flag that looks cool, and there we go. Pretty cool looking flag. And there's my stats, or game stats. And now I'm getting contracts, pretty normal stuff. I would have sped this up more, but it was way too laggy because this is just normal first start to game type stuff in KSP. But for anybody who hasn't seen KSP videos and is watching this is what you do. I don't know what else to say. There's my Kerbal, Jebediah. They all have names. Here we're launching my second rocket. It's a suborbital rocket, and yeah, that's what it was designed to do. But as you're about to see, it doesn't do that. It's a blunder of mine. Sometimes I make vehicles that are way too small. Here's me landing with really high brightness because you couldn't see a thing without it. Yeah, we almost died here. Now, yes, here's our next suborbital adventure. I just added another fuel tank, as you can see. Yeah, look at how high I'm going. I'm gonna get up to 100 kilometers, by the way, with this vehicle. Here's Jebediah doing science and falling back to Earth, or Kerbin. And if you can see, yeah, just falling back, normal KSP stuff. And here's our next launch. It's an orbital rocket. We used the last rocket to gain science for our orbital rocket. You can see it's a bit bigger. It has new pieces, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the mods for any KSP players in the audience. I'm using Restock, which makes the rocket look cooler. And also, I'll talk a bit about the rocket. The top stage is probably the most important part. It has a modded piece, and here's a little bit of getting into orbit. The modded pieces for any KSP players is kind of like the Spark engine, but it's made for a larger fuel tank, I guess. And here is a little glory shot of the rocket. So anyway, you can see our final destination in the back, and as we start coming down, I do not know how, but I forgot all the science on the previous launch vehicle, so we're gonna launch another one with a different Kerbal instead of Jebediah, who I've been launching on every single launch, I think. And it will be Valentina Kerbin be launching on this one. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about the rocket. It has 3 solid rocket boosters, all connect to each other because I don't have any radial decouplers. Then kind of like a kick stage type thing. I don't think that's the right word, but a second stage, which is kind of meant to just put the thing to a high enough altitude as to which I won't have as much drag on the craft, so I won't have it to use as much delta V, which is change in velocity, if you didn't know. And that means that for every meter per second of delta V, I change my velocity by 1 meter per second. That can either be negative or positive. And here's me gliding back down. I love to conserve my electricity, by the way, because I personally love having a ton of electricity, so conserving it is always the best thing to do. So if you're like new to KSB, try and keep the SAS off as long as possible, but not too short a time. You have to at least keep it on during certain re-entries, or I guess most launches. Okay, here's the science screen and upgrading the facilities. And here's our last rocket for today. It's the moon rocket. Now, Valentina Kerbin is going to be flying on this one. And I have the same approach as last time. 3 large solid rocket boosters followed by a stage with enough delta V, but this time it's actually just going to stay in the atmosphere because the solid rocket boosters can do all the work and then get this craft out of the atmosphere. And here's the glory shot with the moon in the background, and I think Minmus right there, Minmus. And so you can see those beautiful restock parts on the engine and science equipment, as well as that engine. That I don't even think that engine exists in the game. You know, it just doesn't. It might, but it also is probably just modded because I have a bunch of modded stuff. But I'd say that I have a limit to having mods in the game, because I've tried like having a ton of mods, but sometimes it's just too laggy at that point. So I've kind of had a plan on how to deal with it. Also, I was probably like swearing during this because I thought that I was about to miss the moon. And by the way, we're in the moon's sphere of influence. And see, Valentina is grabbing all of the equipment, or science actually. Now we can go home. So I also have a mod that has life support. I think I might have talked about that, but I don't want to stay in orbit for too long, or else Valentina will just stop working. I think Kerbals might die, but it'll take like years. Also, you can see the Eve mod does so much work for Kerbin. You can see everything. Look at those clouds right there. They're beautiful. So anyway, we're gonna touch down in the ocean. Actually doing the contract, but I don't think I do it on the video. That'll be near our conclusion for this video. My conclusion, actually, because it's my video. So we're landing off the coast of Aricia, which is pretty nice, you know. And as you can see, another glorious shot with the sun. So I think we'll call it this video. It's a pretty nice video. I think I'm gonna continue this. series. I should. I mean, I spent a good deal of time making this video. It's a pretty nice video, to be honest. Better than most of my other stuff. Anyway, goodbye.